Hi everyone, my name is Mervell. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and do not forget to turn on the notification bell for more videos like this. Without further ado, let's go straight to today's video. You guys, today I wanted to talk to you about Africans living in America and the struggles that they go through. Some of you may have watched some of my videos in the past where I discussed the struggles that Africans go through, but I have not gone in depth as how Africans, no matter the struggles that they go through, they will rather stay here than move back to the continent. In this video, we're going to get into all of those details, and I'm going to tell you how some of those ideas could be changing, especially in 2025. Coming from the continent of Africa, most of us are under the impression that if you move here, your life will change dramatically. That you will live in this beautiful home, you will buy this beautiful car, and you will be pretty much unstoppable. And you get to build mansions and apartment complexes in a continent because you're like, oh my God, like after all the struggles I've been through, I am going to show the world what I'm capable of as soon as I land in America. Well, that's not usually the case. Most Africans here are struggling big time. The only reason you don't see most Africans moving back permanently, it's not because they don't want to. Well, some of them could be the case depending on how their life looked like when they lived in the continent. But most Africans who are doing well for themselves, they will rather move back to the continent rather than staying here in America. And I will tell you exactly why. The life that you think you see on Hollywood movies, it's not the reality of everyday Americans or even immigrants living in this country. Most people in America are in debt. A lot, especially those that have college degrees and everything, they owe so much money monthly in student loan debts that it's becoming damn near impossible to even pay that debt off. In addition to that, you have to live. You have to get an apartment. You have to get a house. You have to live your life really without, you know what I'm saying, feeling that you're in jail or something. You know what I'm saying? So when you get an apartment, there is a bill that you need to pay because at the end of the day, you need to keep a roof above your head, right? If you don't do that, and then how are you going to live? Are you going to choose to be homeless just so you can pay your student loans? For the most part, not many people will want to make that kind of decision. That will always continue to add up. Having a cell phone here in America, you will have to pay for it monthly. Having an internet 24/7, you will have to pay for it monthly. Calculating all your monthly expenses, most Americans bank accounts are negatives because their salary is not enough to pay for all of these things. And in addition to that, they get a credit card that help them pay for things, and then it's becoming perpetual. They getting themselves into the depths more and more. And then eventually, it's damn near impossible to get out of that kind of situation. Unless you hit a lottery big time, then you get out of that situation. But tell me how many people have hit lottery in the past couple of decades? Not that many. It's probably 0.1% win a lottery. Guys, don't move to America as an African thinking that you will live this unimaginable lifestyle, because that's not always true. You understand what I'm saying? Because coming here, depending on who is hosting you, most people they do not want to. They won't allow you to stay at their house without paying. They will help you get a job so you can start or contributing to the rent, which is reasonable, right? This is more of an individualistic society where people are seen as resources. So when you live at someone's house, they're not gonna let you use their run their water, electricity for free. They're paying for it monthly. Why can't you contribute too? So you will get a job and then you will also contribute just as much as them. Where it's not the case when you live in a continent, because in Africa, whether you have a job or not, there's higher chances of you still having meal at the end of every day and still having the roof over your head. It goes more of a personal or preference, whether you want to continue to live with your parents for as long as it takes, or you want to get a place. Because certain people, when they reach certain age, depending on their own life goals, they want to move out, and they will rather suffer far away from their family, so just they discipline themselves and make it in life. That's also another possibility. But I don't see why you should do that when you have the chance to save money by staying with somebody. That could also be one plus, just to help you save enough money so when you get out, you don't have to come back. So I'm telling you this because I'm African myself, and I've been living in America for almost 13 years, and I know exactly what I'm talking about. I am surrounded by a lot of Africans in my community where I live here in America, and all of us, just as recent as yesterday, we were having conversations relating to this specific topic. Most people will rather move back to the continent because the way things are moving, the direction in which things are going in America is not looking pretty for everybody. Now we are realizing that we have a home to go to, and maybe we should act upon that. So many of my friends, they either own a home back home or building one. So when they visit, at least they have a place to stay. And now seeing things that are happening here in America, they're now investing their money into real estate. So at least they have some sort of residual income until they figure out what their future will look like. Let me tell you this. If an African who has been here for a long time is coming up with excuses and telling you, no, Africa has these leaders, they have to do better, and I'm not going to move back there until things are settled. Well, those are the losers, right? Because number one, why can't you bring your share? Why can't you come back to the continent since the leadership is not good? Speaking of leadership, we're not always talking about presidency. That's why people get it twisted so many times. You could go back, whatever you have learned or the skills you have developed, you can go back and kind of create some sort of leadership in that area and show people that things can be done differently. That is your contribution. People think for some reason, in order to contribute to your country, you necessarily have to get involved in politics. That's not always the case. You could change things in agricultural sector. You can change things in technological sector. You can change things in many, many sectors. But people saying things like that, they're just losers. They're just afraid that they don't have anything to offer. So they see, okay, why should I go home than to do one? Because they don't have anything better to bring to the table. They don't have no investment. They don't have the money to begin with. Let's start with that. They don't even have money to sustain themselves when they go to Africa. A lot of them staying here, saying things like that, the longest they can stay in a continent is probably 1 week, or the most maybe 2 weeks. They'll run out of money and come back here real fast. Guys, there is a potential to make a lot of money here in America. This country, it's so industrialized that you could get 2 or 3 jobs if you really wanted to. I always tell people, consider America as a warehouse where you get a job, you make money, but then you invest that money elsewhere. I keep telling people, do not sit around and expect the government to do everything for you. You will have to create something for yourselves. Even if the saying that goes, oh, politics gets in the way of our everyday lives. And that is absolutely true, but that doesn't necessarily mean that just because of that, you cannot do something good for your country. You will rather stay at a place where your taxpayers are helping to destabilize the very same country that we all come from. And then you wake up one morning, I love my country, I'm proud Africans. But what have you done so far to help change the narrative, to help change the current situation that you do not appreciate? Guys, we have to start thinking big as Africans. Do you know why Most people around the world do not even respect Africans, or let alone if you travel with an African passport, there's always complications and drama because they looking at you as you going to their country to stay. You're going to their country to seek asylum because yes, the leadership is not bad, and our countries in the continent have not gained their respective place in a global scale because our leaders are not serious. But you as an individual, you can turn your life around. Most wealthy people, regardless of where they're from, they do not have those problems. Do you know why? Because the moment they walk into the embassy and they fill out the application to get a visa or to go on a business trip, and they look at their bank account, they granting them a visa just like that. Why do you think Donald Trump came up with like this gold card? This gold card, it's more like opening citizenship path to wealthy people from around the world. And if you're coming from the continent, you can prove that you're bringing $5 million into the U.S. economy. Here you go. They give it to you. There is no discrimination there. The only discrimination is if you're poor, you totally exempt from. You're totally cut off from that. But if you are rich, it don't matter if you're dark skinned, if your skin is darker, you lighter, or brown, whatever. You coming. Life is so simple. Sometimes we need to stop making it any more difficult than what it needs to be. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you one thing. You have continue to be proud of who you are, and keep in mind, every little thing we do in our lives, it will catch up to us later on in life. Whatever you planting today, you will harvest it tomorrow. It's only a matter of time. Do good things, spend your money wisely, eventually it will work for you. But if you're out here partying, going to bars, clubs, and splurging, there's nothing wrong with that, as long as there is some moderation. But I know people straight up, all the money that they make, it doesn't do anything more than just partying. They get paid this week, on Friday, for instance. By the time they wake up Monday morning, all the paycheck is gone. Now they going back to work, waiting till they get the next paycheck, and it becomes a cycle. They do it over and over and over again. And now they want to blame the economy in their country. They want to blame the African leader for not doing anything. But they're not going to tell you how they are not so smart about their money. But they're not telling you how irresponsible they are with their spending. Guys, stop blaming other people for your problems. We have to be responsible for the actions that we take. On that note, have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Happy Monday.